Hello, my name is Amina Obuekwi, and this is my turning point activity. I have the desire to be of great service to the world in and of itself. What that looks like for me is serving my community, serving underserved communities, and serving any community that relates to me in the slightest, whether that be the Black community, whether that be women, whether that be people in Houston, people in Texas, people in America. For me, that just looks like being of service to people in general. With that being said, I have a desire to service all of humanity, and I would like to go into philanthropy. I believe that that is my life's task, and that's the work that I would like to choose to pursue. I believe that it's one of the greatest and most accomplished ways to give back to communities and individuals as well. I believe the more experience, the better equipped you are to be understanding. I seek to be understanding and helpful. I seek to identify what resources are lacking and to provide said resources. So that is a little bit about me. Moving forward, I'll start with the return to the origins, the primal inclination strategy. I love the theme of that strategy because it reminds me simply of returning to your origins in any way, shape, or form. Um, that's something that people hear a lot, I think. Just go back to your roots, so to speak. And I think that there's something natural and effortless and genuine to be said about people who can really return to their roots, whether that be in their culture, their ethnicity, or anything that you can just recall from childhood. There's always just something that's so effortless about something that's always been in you. The second strategy, occupy the perfect niche, the Darwin strategy. I really identified with Yoki here. The strategy reminded me a lot of myself in the way that I naturally pursue things in my life. I tend to work at something for quite a while until I'm exceptional or overly exceptional at it, and then I'll move on to learning something new. I find that when you do these things, you can discover a plethora of things that you enjoy that maybe you wouldn't have discovered before. So that's something that I have enjoyed doing for a long time in my life if I'm interested in something. So it started out with like hobbies and social things. For example, when I first started to learn how to do my makeup, I took my time with it, and then I, started doing makeup for photo shoots and etc. And then I was doing my own hair, and I wanted to cut it and style it and dye it. And before I knew it, I was making wigs and doing other people's hair. So anytime I have the chance to elevate at something or learn something new, it's always very exciting. So I related to that strategy as well. Avoiding the false path, the rebellion strategy. This strategy is reminiscent of following your gut feeling to me and doing so unapologetically. Mozart knew for a very long time what he wanted to do, and when he went with that, it paid off for him tremendously. Choosing to rebel against things that are keeping you away from pursuing your life's task is very powerful, as is choosing to rebel against yourself, which is what you do when you ignore your life's task or your calling, so to speak. So I think that that strategy is something that holds true for a lot of people, specifically the generation that came before me. I think a lot of times you'll hear things like just secure a good job, do something that is very stable. And a lot of times people will end up in what is referred to as a dead end job or something that they just simply do not enjoy doing because they are taking the false path instead of rebelling against it. The next strategy, let go of the past, the adaptation strategy. This is a powerful strategy because it forces you to confront yourself where you are. This strategy lets us know that there's opportunity for change anytime and any place. We can always choose to be or do something different than we previously did. We can do so confidently and with faith in our life's task. This was the text gave us an anecdote about Freddie Roach. This was also something that resonated with me because he was a fighter, and he in the text stated that that's kind of like all he knew, and when it was time to try to adapt to different things, he kind of only just thought about fighting, He ended up using that to his advantage and going into the boxing world in a different way and kind of creating his own path there. So that's also something that I can see to be true for myself. Moving on to the next strategy, find your way back, the life or death strategy. This is an all or nothing strategy. The life or death strategy is like the last resort. When your back is up against the wall and you feel like you've given all you've got, you have to find your way back. This strategy seems supernatural to me. It's almost as if it suggests that your life's task is going to find you no matter what. And I say that this is a last resort, back up against the wall thing, because it's not every day that you have these huge, grandiose coming to aha moments. So that life or death strategy is really going to be something that's supernatural, so to speak. It seems like something's happening outside of you that brings you to your life's task or your calling, or kind of back to the thing that you know that you truly enjoy doing or that you should be doing. Which brings me to my career and personal goals. Philanthropy is my career goal. I would like to be able to host galas, benefits, art auctions, and more to raise awareness and funds for the education and health of minority communities and other communities at large. In the next 3 weeks, I think some goals that I can set for myself are simply to do what I say I am going to do. So following through on and committing to things. So not putting too much on my plate, and with what I have on my plate, actually being sure that I execute those things. In addition to that, just holding myself accountable. So being sure I follow through, being sure that I'm on time for my deadlines, so forth and so on. I think that those are two things that require a lot of discipline and obedience, and they can absolutely be transferred over into philanthropy and not only help me now in my short-term goals, but in my long-term goals as well. So that is all. Thank you very much.